to the Great Pill Podcast, where truths unveiled, exploring the depths beyond what is retail. Conspiracies, esoteric knowledge so enthralling. Open up your mind, let's dive into the sprawling. Oh yeah. Great Pill awaken, question what you know. Peeling back the latest, let your curiosity grow. Uncover hidden realities, break the mold. Come take the journey, let your mind unfold.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gray Pill Podcast. I'm your host, Jules. Happy Thursday. I usually don't stream on Thursday, so this is something. It's my anniversary, so I'm going to be celebrating it, I guess, tomorrow night and Saturday. Thursday night, you know, there's really nothing
in the doghouse?
too much we can do. Yeah, man, yeah. So I am joined tonight by my friend, Jose Galison. What's going on, man?
Not much, just chilling. I'm glad to be here. I feel bad, you know. I pretty much, for those, I guess this is logistics and no one's gonna give a shit about, but generally I have Tower Gang on Wednesdays, and it's pretty much always on Wednesdays. Every now and then we might have to swap something around, and then we're doing the Already Dead show every Tuesday, and it's like I've always just kind of the way, because I usually just stream while my wife's at work, because she works nights, and it's usually Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays I have available. So it's Thursdays. So Thursdays is just like a normal No Way Jose or an appearance. So that's what I have open. And then but I feel bad. You fucking ditched your anniversary. Not cool, man. But
no, man, no. It's fine. Like I said,
we could have done it next Thursday. Not a big deal.
No, I told her about it a few weeks ago, and I was like, hey, I know that's our anniversary. She was like, yeah, I may be in Arkansas, you know, so we can just, and still I think we're doing something even next weekend, because her brother is in town from Hong Kong. So yeah, he's a international lawyer. He works in Hong Kong, so he's in town. So yeah, I mean, it's fine, dude. I'll hang out with her later. Don't you worry. We have plans later tonight once the kids go to sleep. So
hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's good to be here.
Good evening, Doctor.
Yeah. Doctore. There's an E at the end.
Doctore.
Yeah.
I like how you pointed out that he wasn't a real doctor.
Yeah. Nope. I don't think it's a real doctor, but might be. Who knows?
420.
Yeah. So it's good to have Doctor follow me here. I see him.
We got some people coming in. So. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, I really appreciate you coming and hanging out, man. Yeah, your schedule is the complete opposite of mine. So I usually, I work Monday through Friday, and so sometimes, you know, we have our thing we do on Tuesday nights, Already Dead. If you guys didn't know, I run the behind the scenes for Jose and Austin on their Tuesday night show. We always have a great time. I was a fan of the show long before I even met. Well, like when they first started, I think y'all had XG on.
Yeah.
And that was the first episode I saw. I think it was the third or fourth. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, no, I just kind of from there I started watching everyone, and then I started getting into chat and stuff, and then eventually once I met y'all, I called in, and then you know, here we are. So
yeah,
I appreciate you. You know, helping put me out there. You know?
Doing what I can. I saw someone offering free labor, and I accepted. So you can't, you know.
As anybody should. No, I did the same fucking thing, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean, I also was looking out for the right type of people. So
I appreciate it.
So we're just making sure we can make it work. But yeah, it's an unpaid position. I mean, maybe one day there'll be money, but
maybe one day.
Yeah, one day. But even then, we're talking a little bit here and there. Podcasting is not the place to go if you want to get rich.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I know.
you can do okay. It might add another like a gas tank or two here and there. You help cushion the edges, and
I was gonna say,
just for having a few conversations here and there. So that's nice. But
right. Yeah. If I can pay my StreamYard and my X off of donations, in which, like I said earlier, I should start streaming to X again soon. But we'll see. Oh man, this is something that 2 years ago I didn't see myself doing. I was just a schizo, just researching things and going on my own little deep dives and staying in my head about everything. Didn't have anybody to talk to. Bless my wife's heart.
They don't get it.
Yeah, about drove her fucking crazy in the past better part of a decade. I had about 7 years, 6-7 years that I've been kind of just like started digging, and you keep digging and digging.
Yeah,
and,
it's better to find people to offload that info on. It's not good to drop your poor wife, unless your wife's into that stuff. But as someone who's been married over a decade, I will say I feel like it's a lot better when I have a community of people to talk to about that side of me, because just dumping that on my wife just feels like abuse. Just like, I know you don't give a shit about this, and you're just having to hear this and be like, this is fucking, I don't give a shit about what this dude's going on about right now. So, I mean, I think it's good to have friends. So that's, I guess, what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. She, in a sense, kind of woke me up, but, I go a little deeper than her on just about everything, I'd say. I JQ'd her not too long ago, so, and she didn't really believe me at first until like a few of her friends got JQ'd and they all started talking about it. And then I was like,
depends on what you mean by JQ, I guess.
well, just general, just
generally
very light JQ. Yeah.
Light JQ, that there might be an issue here.
Yeah. And she finally sees that. Yeah.
Look at the perverse incentives. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, you could point everywhere and say that there's some sort of power structure running things from each direction. The Vatican, all these giant different kinds of churches. I mean, there's hundreds of denominations of Christianity, a lot of people making money off of it. But yeah, man, you're the first person besides Austin. It's kind of funny. Like I'm into a lot of different facets of conspiracy. And I've had my own deep dives on each and every one, but that I mainly go into like the fallen angel, etymology and like the bloodlines going back. And, so yeah, man, this stuff is fun, to hear about, and, it's fun to learn about the, stuff that you're kind of more into, the false flag and psyop, realm. And so I know you're famous for OKC.
Yeah, famous.
When did this start? Obviously, everyone knows this.
Yeah, everyone knows.
When did this start? Kind of tell me.
When did it start? Timeline.
What made you want to dive down this rabbit hole? Dive down this hole.
Honestly, frankly, the OKC stuff is like basically damn near complete, right turn for my show. Like it was my show. My show is called No Way Jose. It's always kind of been from the beginning whatever the fuck I want to talk about. There's a reason I didn't really like overly try to define it with a name. No Way Jose can be like a lot of different things. But for the longest time, it was mostly just like libertarian theory, political philosophy, stuff like that. Because that's what I really was into. And I still dig that stuff. I'll read some of that shit here and there. Read a little Hoppe, read a little Rothbard. But I saw I was always like kind of somewhat into parapolitics, but not like super duper into it. Just, kind of dip my toes in, kind of was aware of the, the conspiracy. So like generic, like 9/11 type stuff, but I never really dug in too deep. I was more of like a theory guy. Then I saw a Jinx edit on Twitter, and it was his Terrence Yeakey edit. And that's when I was like, wait, what? What the fuck? Like I saw the edit, and I was like, and then I just kind of like got a hair up my ass. I'm like, is this legit? Like, is it just like, because if this like story that's being told in this like,
you fucking with me?
Yeah, no, for real. Like in this this thing, it watched this. I'm like, if this is legit, like this is some wild shit. So I went on like a Google, started looking around, and I obviously had my show at that time. I still do, but once I like kind of like had that Yeakey bomb dropped on me, I had the desire to learn more. Bomb. Yeah, then
that's a pretty good way to describe it. Yeah.
But then I started trying to I asked around, kind of like, hey, who the fuck who can I interview to do like a episode? At the time, I think I was just saying episode, and it obviously ended up becoming a series. And I don't remember who, maybe it was Scott Horton, I think may have been the one who mentioned it, but other people did as well.
I like Scott.
I think it was a couple people recommended that I get Richard Booth to come on my show and talk about the Oklahoma City bombing. Now Richard Booth, just so people know about this guy, he is just like a super duper OKC bombing, autist basically. Best way to put it. And to give a little bit of credence to that, he runs the archive, the Oklahoma City bombing archive for the Libertarian Institute. And now this archive is the largest public Oklahoma City bombing archive there is. So this is the end-all be-all for all documents, whatever that you want to try to have.
Archive for the bombing itself. That's pretty sick, man.
Well,
That's
all the
awesome.
different FBI 302 reports, FOIA requests, articles that were written about this, about like different aspects of it, just so on and so forth. And it's basically set up like a Google type thing. You go up there, you type in a keyword, type in surveillance tapes, and then you'll bring up all the different. You'll bring up the FOIAs where they're trying to get access to the surveillance tapes because the feds have those and we're not able to see those. So essentially, he's the guy running that. He's the one who had like a collection, threw it together. Him and Scott worked together on that to kind of throw together documents, and also obviously Scott let him host it on his Libertarian Institute. So that's kind of his backing up his credentials, I guess. He is basically just kind of been a guy that's made it basically his life. So I got him on the show. We ended up doing something in the realm of like almost 15 hours on the Oklahoma City bombing. That kind of set me on my own. So like that's the best, I think, contribution I've probably made overall is that series, because people can get really good understanding with that series. It's in a playlist on my channel. So if you go to playlist and then you go to OKC, you'll see all my OKC stuff, and then part 1, part 2, or whatever. There are other stuff in there too. So people who look into that, I did interview some I interviewed Steven Vassar, who was one of Yeakey's best friends. And then obviously I ended up, along the way, which was kind of pretty surreal this ever happened, I ended up interviewing Tanya Yeakey. She actually reached out to me with my coverage. This was well after, I got into contact with her after all, like going on like Timcast and stuff like that. So it wasn't until well later that she got into touch with me. And it was kind of like, hey, I dig what you've been doing kind of deal. Like, I feel like you do a fair job of it. And she hadn't talked to anyone. Well, technically she had talked to CNN on an article not too long before that, but she essentially answered the phone once and then never answered back.
I was going to say, it's CNN, right?
Yeah, that's basically what happened. So I was the first person she really talked to in like over 20 years. I ended up getting the Tim Pool's people involved, one of his journalists, Chris Burtman, and he wrote a story on her, kind of coming to and talking about some of the newer stuff too. There was some new information, little bits and pieces if you do want to get in the weeds of the story. There was new stuff that came to light because it's obviously been so long. I have pretty much, I'd say one of the best, I have in the realm of, I believe, over 20 hours of Oklahoma City bombing content that is like good stuff that if you want to get a grasp on the information. And as a result, like I said, it like took a right turn with my channel. Now I cover a lot of parapolitics. It seems to be what I really am interested in now these days. I'm always reading some Oklahoma City bombing book or listening to some audiobook about some other Fed bullshit. So this is kind of like, this has dragged me down these rabbit holes, which then, take me on this other side rabbit hole and so on and so forth. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I by no means, I do try to hedge myself by saying, hey, I'm not an expert, but I can tell you I can tell you a lot of the experts. I can give you a lot of the sources, the books to read. I'll definitely give people my opinions when we talk about this, but don't take it as the gospel truth, and I'll do my best to support it. I'm not quite as good at Austin is, or Richard Booth at just like being like, being like detailed.
Austin's pretty damn.
Yeah, but I've spent a lot of time digging this stuff, so at the very least, you can. I may not be able to, spell it out perfectly, the exact sources and stuff sometimes, but
you do a great job.
Yeah, I think I do all right. Bro. I'm just saying,
I
can refer to people to the experts. I'm the I'm the Dave Smith of Oklahoma City. You know how like Dave Smith always says, not, and I'm not even saying him as good as him. If anyone watches his show, he says all the time like he's not the expert. He just reads the right people and he can refer you to the right people. So it's kind of the same way for me. I just read the right people. I feel like I have a good read on who's trustworthy, who's not. But at the end of the day, we're all kind of in the dark here, and we're doing our best to figure out what the fuck happened.
Right.
Yeah.
How loud is my daughter?
I don't hear shit. No,
You don't hear shit? Good.
There you go.
Oh my God, dude. She is just like, guys, terrible twos, over halfway done, I guess. She will be 3 on Christmas Eve. So some sweet moments, but
Is that your oldest?
times like this, I'm like, fuck.
Is that your oldest?
That's my youngest. I have an 11-year-old
Oh, you have an 11-year-old okay,
son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I got a
He's
14-year-old and
pretty
a
based.
12-year-old.
Yeah, man. No. So, how old are you?
I am 33. Yeah.
Just kidding. Illuminati.
I don't know what the
confirmed,
eye
guys.
thing. Oh, the Illuminati. Okay, got it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't make
Get that?
Just how old. Oh, I didn't at first.
What
What the
the
fuck are you
fuck
doing?
is he
Then okay, got it. Yeah, 33. Illuminati. Haha. Yeah, got it. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you're a year older than me, I guess. Wow.
Yeah.
You were
Just a
18 when
little
you
bit.
had
Yeah.
your kids, right? Or
I got to fucking
younger?
early, dude. Yeah.
17?
So, yeah, something like that. I was young. I was
Yeah,
young as shit,
were
yeah.
you were slamming puss. That's what you were doing. I know what you were doing. Dude, yeah. I mean, my son couldn't have come at a better time, bro. Like, you would not be here talking to me right now if it wasn't for him. Yeah. But that's
Got you off the old druggy poos.
oh yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Many
Less fun,
different
but
times.
more fun at the same time. Different kinds of fun.
And, dude, years later, you can look back and laugh on it.
Yeah. I've been down those roads. So
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and Austin talked about it too. Yeah, it's tough, but once
I think
you
all
get
three of
through
us
there,
were pillheads, weren't we?
yeah, dude. Well, I got into harder shit.
Well, yeah, pills were like the gateway to get to the harder shit.
Yeah, you start doing like the OPs and Roxys, and then you get into fentanyl.
Yeah.
So
All right. You just went right straight to fent, huh?
your friends. Well, at first it was just heroin, you know, heroin. Let's not beat around the bush. I don't know why I just like mumbled it.
Heroin.
Heroin. But then slowly, like, people start dying, and you're like, oh shit. I mean, I never used it intravenously. I think that's the word I was thinking of. And so I would, just snort it or whatever. And this was, I mean, dude, this was 7 years ago. I think I've been clean for 7 years, so it's good. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah. Fun time.
Yeah, man. I don't really talk, I don't go to meetings and stuff. I don't like to self-loathe and do all that shit. If people need it, they need it. But
Yeah, I never got to heroin. I stopped at oxys.
I hear you. Well, I mean, dude, it was a very, very slippery slope with me.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
I live in Mississippi. Restaurants, high milligram opiates lead to.
Oh, dude, I was in Tennessee. I know what you mean.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I forget you're a Southern boy too.
Yeah. No, yep. Fucking started with the old Laura tabs to
were you
fucking
from Tennessee? Because I was born in Tennessee. My whole family lives in Tennessee.
Greene County.
Okay, well, my mom lives in Knox County. Well, Knoxville. Is that Knox County?
Yeah, that's not far, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's 9 hours from here. I was born in Nashville. So my dad's sister and his brother live in Nashville. So I love Tennessee, man.
Oh, it's
Great
beautiful
place.
country. Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful there.
for sure, dude. Love it.
I want to
during
go
the winter.
back. So
Huh?
I want to go back. I'm trying to scheme a way to get back there. So
Hell yeah, dude. No, I completely feel
well,
you.
I mean, with the market the way it is too, in the housing market, like my fucking, I bought this house for like around 330ish, and it's not. It was, I think for a moment it went over 6, but like I think it's back a little bit under 6, or probably around like 580. So it's like I have like a few $100,000 of like money in there, and then you go to somewhere like Tennessee, I I could probably sell my house and buy a relatively similar-ish type house and not have a mortgage. So
That's cool.
that's playing the game.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, we had bought this house, dude, like right before COVID. The market was pretty fucking good. Needless to say, if I sell my house in 2 weeks after a few little patch ups around, I'd be able to buy some land, and but I have to work, and I don't have time to do all that right now. And I like my neighborhood. The county I live in is fairly safe, and it's like the country, but not too far into the country, which would be cool too. But I mean, this neighborhood could take a turn real fast if they were to start building like low income housing in here, in which they've done like 5 miles down this main road over here. So you start seeing that and you're like, oh, now I have to move somewhere else. I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of good families. We had a homicide in this neighborhood, a fucking double homicide suicide. I don't think I've talked about this. It happened like 2 years ago.
That's a high score.
Huh?
So that's a high score.
Oh, dude. So this guy comes home, catches his wife. It's a black guy. So comes home, catches his wife moving out. Like she's leaving her and her sister's friend who's a white guy. And so this guy kills both the women, kills his wife, kills her sister, and then shoots the white guy. The cops. One of my neighbors that lives on the street behind me, he's a narcotics agent, and I know him from going up to the pool and just like drinking a few beers with him. He's actually pretty cool. And I'm not friends with police, so I stay wary, obviously, especially with my past run-ins with the law. But he's still a good guy. He's never given me a reason not to want to drink a beer with him, or like he would invite us over for cookouts and shit. And but he called me and told me, he was like, stay in your house, there's a shooter. So like I'm glad that we're friends, I guess, so when stuff like that happen, he can call me, but yeah, the guy ended up shooting himself behind the pool. So it was a smart move, because I mean, he was shooting at the cops for 30 minutes. I had my wife, I guess she had the Smith & Wesson. I don't know if that's the best choice for her, because she's like very dainty. So it was just like, I don't know. I may be wrong. And then I was at the back door with a shotgun because I heard gunshots in my neighborhood, and this, like, nothing has happened like this over here. And of course it's a domestic thing, but how many more times could that happen again? I don't know.
Yeah, stuff happens. I don't know.
Shit
Can't
happens,
prevent it all. Yeah. So.
But anyway, sorry, I've been talking like we're like just kicking it, which we are. Mm-hmm. But I kind of wanted to ask you, because when most people think of OKC, they think of Ted Kaczynski, right?
No.
Is that a different thing?
That's a different thing. Yeah, that's
a different thing.
Yeah,
okay, so
Ted Kaczynski's the oh God, what is he? God, the Unabomber. The Unabomber.
Okay.
Are you
see?
Okay.
You see? All right. So
he was the crazy fucking eccentric, genius dude who was sending mail bombs to like specific like people in academia and
okay.
I don't even know.
I'm so sorry, dude. I had a tab pulled up on Ted Kaczynski because I wanted to ask you something, and I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? That's why I kind of looked like, okay, sorry. Let me just close that out because, all right, just talk about OKC. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Okay, so what was the conclusion about the OKC bombing?
What do you mean? What was the conclusion?
Like, I just don't know much about it. Like, who, just kind of give me a rundown of what happened. And for anyone else who doesn't know, I mean, I don't know. Do you want to watch this edit or something? Am I asking stupid questions?
All right, let's play the edit. I think that's a good idea. Play the edit, and then
Okay.
maybe that'll get your mind spinning of like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, what should we talk about there? Oh, it's not.
Okay.
It's not showing it.
I know.
Okay.
And that's the one you sent me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just one that
making sure.
the homie Jolly on Kleepold made on Twitter.
Sometimes I
just
open
thought
up
it was-
too many tabs, dude. It happened the other day. My stream with my co-host Cody, which was a great stream. We had a good time. All right, let me see. So I'm gonna share this. All right, guys. I've been ignoring the chat too. What's going on, everybody?
All right.
Oh, they're all talking about where they've been looking at properties.
Yeah, Tennessee's a great spot.
That's awesome, Scott. Okay, let's play this. I'm glad I didn't go any further with that.
I kind of wish you had. I'm probably best known for my coverage on the Oklahoma City bombing. Last time I was here, I let you guys all know that Terrence Yeakey didn't kill himself, and less than a month later, CNN ended up covering that story. So today I'm here to tell you Kenneth Trentadue didn't kill himself, and Jesse Trentadue, his brother, sure could use some awareness. He still continues over 25-year-long battle for justice and his brother's death. And the people that did him in will still walking
First shot hit me in the face and then went down into my throat, and that's what caused all the major damage to my throat. We didn't talk. There was no conversation whatsoever. It was very businesslike. Is probably the best I could put it. He didn't look enraged. He didn't look anything other than very comfortable in what he was doing.
Shit slaps.
Wow.
Wow, right? A lot there, huh?
Dude. Okay. Can you give me a rundown of that?
Yeah, I figured maybe there might be some things that that caught your
recognize
eye,
some things,
or
yeah.
that like were brought something to memory that you're like, oh shit, that. Yes, that is a scatter shot. There's a ton in there. There's so many. We could almost like go frame by frame for some
Why
of
did
that
I
stuff.
see a picture of Lanza? Is his dad connected to this too?
I think. I mean, you gotta keep in mind who made this. The artist here. That's John Kleebold. He's big into Sandy Hook stuff. He's made some connections. So the thing is, like, if you're playing the conspiracy game and kind of stringing along connections, the Oklahoma City bombing very much runs in the vein of like right wing conspiracy, like kind of like Patriot movement, like Pat Con is like kind of the realm of where people will talk about like kind of the Pat Con, the conspiracies that get pushed off to the Pat Con corner. And there is I forget how he makes the connection, but in the Schmanny Schmuck stuff, there's it looks like there's some sort of connection there that he's made. So to kind of like the Pat Con type stuff, like almost like maybe like a gun running type thing. I forget. You'd have to go check out my last episode. I forget which part it was, covering Sandy Hook. I think he went over that a little bit in there. But yeah, either way, there's connections to be made. There's some stuff in that edit that I don't even really know what it's referring to, but yeah.
I got you. So what made you, I guess, look into the death of Terrence Yeakey?
Well, like I said, it was that edit, but I think if I had to boil it down, it's kind of it's the story of Terrence Yeakey, which I guess we haven't really laid that out.
I was going to say, if you want to lay that out for us.
Essentially, he was the first, everything I've seen says he was the first, or if not one of the first, responders to the Oklahoma City bombing. He was a cop. I think he was responding to something nearby, so he just happened to be right there when it happened. Ended up being one of the first people, there. Long story short, about a year and a little bit of change later, dude's dead under very, very suspicious circumstances. Now, obviously, there's a lot that we just left out in between there. When, in the aftermath of the bombing, he seemed to have a lot of questions. There were reports that he made to multiple people that he tried to submit a report to, an after-action report type thing to the police department, and they didn't want to have it. They essentially, threw out his old one and tried to make him write a shorter one. There's a lot of intrigue to what did he know, what didn't he know. There's for example, his sister LaShawn Hargrove said that he told her that he saw at one point saw evidence of the bomb going out as opposed to in. The explosion, that being the difference between bombs in the building or what the official narrative is, that is a truck bomb. So that would be coming from the outside of the Murrah building, which is what the Oklahoma City bombing was, is when a truck bomb struck the Murrah building on April 19th, 1995 and killed something like 169 people and destroyed a shitload of buildings and infrastructure nearby. And sorry, what's up?
Oh, no. Nothing. I was going to say, yeah, dude, the way he died, I guess.
Yeah, he ended up in a field a mile and a half away from his car with a bullet in his head. The bullet was at a 45-degree angle coming down. I believe it was in his left temple, or either way, whether it was this or this, it's same thing mirrored. Pretty sure it was left side going through, but either way, 45-degree angle, kind of like coming from up, so kind of an odd way for one to shoot oneself. Also, the car that was a mile and a half away from where his body was found in the field.
He ran almost 2 miles.
Yes, and there was blood all in the car. It was something like a couple liters, I forget. They estimated, which is enough to be basically on the borderline of death. And this is a guy that had sickle cell anemia. So the fact that he would have an incredible amount of blood loss and then go a mile and a half from where his car is to the spot in the field to blow his brains out seems a little suspect. So yeah, his wrists were slit, his neck was cut too. There was also, dirt and grass in the wounds, so it looks like dragging. I guess you could make the case, someone could say, oh, he was crawling, because really that's the only way it's even somewhat feasible, is that he somehow, had all that blood loss in his car and then somehow crawled, because he, as I said, he had sickle cell anemia, and the sheer amount of blood loss, he just would not be. He might be able to crawl away, but even then, you're not going that mile and a half. I will say on the low end, there are reports that say it was a half mile. I find the ones to be, I'm of the opinion the sources I've seen that say a mile and a half are a little bit more accurate. But either way, half mile, mile and a half. A dude with sickle cell anemia who's lost a couple liters of blood
won't be able to run that far.
Yeah, you're not going that far.
Much less walk. Yeah.
Yep, they didn't find the gun for the longest time. There was no autopsy performed. So there's a lot of shady stuff. Just a simple idea of not even doing an autopsy is just, shady as is. So, this isn't just conspiracy nonsense too. Not saying that to be condescending. I'm just saying this is fact. What I'm about to say is that there was a year and change, maybe 2 years ago, CNN wrote a piece on this too. So this is right before Tanya came to me and we started talking. But yeah, so I mean that was covered recently by CNN, which I know obviously I don't trust CNN. The piece was good. So I don't know, this guy, the journalist name is Thomas Lake. I haven't seen anything that would suggest anything bad about him. I don't know. I mean, he seems, just judging by the piece alone, good stuff. So good research. The point I'm getting at is like, this is real shit. Like, I don't know how to tell you. Like, this isn't.
No. You should have led with that.
Well, because I'm saying
No,
people hear this stuff and they think it's like relegated to like the Reddit conspiracy stuff, and
Right,
don't get me wrong, I'm the same guy who'll talk about like Franklin conspiracy or like, so like I'm not at all
What
condescending.
do you think about that?
They were
What do you
fucking
think about
those
the
kids. What do
Franklin
you mean? What about
What's
it? Oh, do you know what that is? You know what it is, right?
The Franklin scandal?
Yeah.
With what's his name? Larry King?
Yeah, Larry King.
Lawrence King? Yeah.
Lawrence King. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I've listened to I've listened to Paul Bonacci him explain what they made him do to other children, and that the sick things that they do when they traffic children, obviously, and have these rituals, because I think it's part of a ritual.
I agree. That's kind of what I'm
definitely
leaning
part of
to.
something bigger. Yeah, man. And
yeah, there's definitely some weird SRA shit going on there, for real.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. But yeah, someone's talking shit about me liking CNN's piece. I'm sorry. It was a good piece. If anything, I've reread it multiple times looking for something to be like, what'd you do wrong with CNN? But it's a good piece. Just saying. So, I'm sorry. Where were we at? I forgot. Oh, there you go.
Like CNN's piece. I think he's saying that you like their piece.
Oh, like his wiener. Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
nice one, Joey. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good wiener. Yeah.
Colostomy Joe.
What was the question though? Did I answer it? I forget what the question was.
Well, we
Oh, you sidetracked.
I was just asking what you thought about the whole Franklin cover up.
They were fucking those kids. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, dude.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that Larry King can still walk free today.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of him, I think, on Twitter. Someone that just like posted being like, "This is Larry King," and they explain.
I mean, he looks like he'd kick ass at a cookout. Like, he just looks like he'd be cool at a cookout.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just saying.
Been to a lot of those, yeah.
So just watch out who you're hanging out with, guys. I don't know.
Most of them in the woods, but no, I learned about that when I first kind of started to wake up, because like, I don't know about anybody else, but first three things that I came to conclusion about was that JFK was killed by the CIA, the government, whoever you want to say, Israel, all that shit. We did not go to the moon, and that footage is fake and gay, and that the death cult did 9/11 or whatever. Those three things, kind of the first things that most people, if they can come to, if they can understand those things, I think that most people will be okay. But you have some people that won't even question that. It's like, you're fucking retarded. Definitely. But this is one of those things. So why was the building blown up?
Okay. I guess obviously you have the official narrative, which is that it was revenge for Waco, because it happened on the anniversary of Waco.
Right. I knew that. I knew. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the word, that it was in retaliation for Waco. That's also kind of what they somewhat will usually attribute to the fact that why they were going after the kids, because that's a big thing, is there was a daycare there. I mean, the why, I mean, if you're looking at it from the simple official narrative, it's like, it's because they were upset about Waco, which rightfully so, they were upset about it. I mean, obviously not rightfully what they did, but it's worth being upset about. But and then, I mean, I guess I'm trying to think if there's any other way to answer this. I mean, I guess if you're what you're asking is like why maybe some other parties would do it, what would maybe perhaps be the real motive? I mean, this
Right.
would be strategy of tension type stuff. The idea of, kind of playing both sides, moving things you want them to be moved, order through chaos. The idea of being like, this militia, the boom, boom, boom. Oh,
Yeah.
we have a right wing, militia patriot issue. I think we need to, stamp down on this. We need to keep an eye on it. Oh, also, kind of further justifies our existence. We need to be doing some more investigating. We need to be doing more infiltrating. And just kind of like a self-licking ice cream cone. The cycle repeats over and over again.
Right.
Find a different, just kind of play around with who the target is. Like during the War on Terror, it was the Hajis they were targeting. Be like, hey, you want to keep that visa? Maybe you should report on old Ahmed, your cousin. Oh, it may be that. Oh, I mean, whatever.
Dude.
Maybe that is bullshit, but I just need
That
some info.
traumatized so many
Yeah.
people to hate Muslims, up until today, right? I mean, I'd say a fucking good amount of people after 9/11 were, but basically led to believe that this one group of people did this. Now I don't, they could have been involved in some way, right? But I mean, you had the dancing Israelis. It's first thing, and then you have a lot of things that don't line up with that. And that's the narrative that they're feeding us, is that, oh, the jihadis did this or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, you really think that's what it is? I mean, most of what they tell us, it's usually not. It's usually not really close to the truth, or they try to invert it in some way. So, what did I guess what did Yeakey notice about this situation that led to his unfortunate death?
I mean, there's a few different theories.
Yeah.
I think, as I mentioned, the idea that maybe there were bombs in the building, with his sister saying that he saw evidence of like the building blowing out as opposed to blowing in. Oops, something caught in my throat. But there was God, what else? God, that threw me off. My cough, I had completely threw off my train of thought. What was the other one? There's also rumors, people that have surmised maybe he was somehow able to get a hold of some of the surveillance tapes. I don't know how much stock I put in that. I mean, it might have. Because there is like a key part of his story where I believe the day before he died, he dropped off a VCR in, Tanya's, I believe, her car or something like that, and she had seen it, and then, later after it was all said and done, it was gone, disappeared, and at that time to have like he had taken the VCR, so looks like he probably copied something, so that would be tapes. So it looked like maybe he was trying to get it to her. There also is the ATF story, which Tanya, when she came on my podcast, and she brought this up.
I think I've heard this.
This is where the ATF, they weren't in the building, and now when I say the story is, they tried to make it seem like they were. Like there was all sorts of different stories going around, reasons for why they weren't there.
Trying to tell her that there was something wrong, and that was
the
day that it happened, right?
Yes, when he I believe that was in
that's
Jinx's
the first
edit.
red flag to me.
Yeah, it's also like
Why would
kind
you
of
lie about that.
It's a quote people bring up a lot is as he, when his ex-wife at the time, Tanya, came to pick him up from the hospital because he hurt himself. Terence Yeakey, he, through the course of being the first responder, he saved multiple lives, and he actually ended up getting hurt in the process. He fell through a couple floors, and when he went to the hospital and he tried to get himself out as quick as possible, he got Tanya to come pick him up, and that's where that quote comes from. He goes, "Tanya, it's not what they're telling you it is. I think I forget what it is, but it's not what they're telling you. Essentially, saying there's more to the story, like they're lying, something along those lines.
Yeah.
I got that first line, but I forget there's a second part of the line that's kind of key to it. But whatever, you get the basic gist. Is yeah, there was a what were we talking about that before that? You threw me off. Fuck. His reasons. The ATF story.
Yes.
No, the
yes,
ATF wasn't there. The day of the bombing, the bomb went off at like 9:02, I think, in the morning. Because that's a significant, the time. But point being is 9 in the morning, so you can kind of get an idea of when this happened. Like normal business hours, like, some businesses 8 to 4, 9 to 5, something like that. So you would think the ATF would be there. Now, I don't know how many people were in that office, but they were the target of the bombing, the ATF office in the Federal Murrah building. Now, none of them were there, but they did try to make it seem like they were. For example, there were stories like of them being in the elevators, essentially trying to break their way out and stuff like that. Later, the elevator operators said that was complete bullshit because they had their story was that, like, they free fell for some part of the thing, and they're like, we're able to look at the safety, stuff. I mean, I don't know enough about elevators to tell you exactly, but they were able to tell, like, these fuckers didn't free fall, and they don't even free fall. Like, that's just some nonsense you see. At least the current elevators of that time, that wasn't a thing they did. That's some shit you see in fucking movies, elevators free falling. That's not like an actual normal issue out there. But point being is they try to make it seem like they were there. And apparently Terry got pretty irritated, and he was one of those people, and I guess supposedly got pretty mouthy with one of the ATF agents at that time. Now there's another guy named, God, I forget his name. He was the doctor. I keep wanting to say Jolly West, but that's not it. But there was a Chumley, Dr. Chumley. There was a Dr. Chumley. He was another guy who died, who under very suspicious circumstances. His private plane went down because he had his own private plane. And this was at a time when he was having issues with the government story as well. According to Tanya, Terry and him had a relationship, and they were. A lot of people were of the opinion they were working together because Dr. Chumley was one of the first doctors on the scene that was helping in the aftermath. And apparently the ATF guys were trying to come to him to get them to fix them up from injuries. But the problem is they didn't have any fucking injuries. So the issue is they were trying to make it appear as if these guys were, in the wreckage, had been hurt, stuff along those lines. So, yeah, the ATF side of this, sketchy. So that there could be some sort of angle there to, like, Terry got involved in all that. And that's kind of what perhaps tipped him off to start going down this, hole to see what else he could find. Because, I mean, I feel like that probably wouldn't be enough. But, I mean, shit, if you were the first guy there and, like, this stuff is happening and these weird, like, these sort of weird things, you're going to be like, what is going on here? Something's odd, and you're going to probably want to look into it a little bit more. So I don't know if he necessarily saw... There's nothing out there that shows, like, him exactly what he said. But there's a lot of people who have theorized. He kept a lot of things tight to his chest. Now, Ramona McDonald's probably the person he's talked to the most. I'd love to get her at some point on the show. I have no idea how to get a hold of her. I'm pretty sure she's still alive because she was interviewed for the CNN article. But she's always kind of been an anonymous source. So... I mean, it is what it is. I don't know how the fuck to get a hold of her. Obviously, I somehow lucked up with Tanya. But, between Tanya and Ramona, they're probably the two biggest sources on this story so far as, like, I think what really hold up a lot of the story. You don't need them, I think, personally, to make this story. You still has enough, like, evidence on the ground. I feel like if you look at, like, the medical examiner's reports and stuff like that. But... They really saw it. Because now the big thing with Ramona is there was a letter that Terry sent to Ramona that's typically used, and also the stuff that she has said along the way. But according to her, for example, he was supposedly going to go meet with some federal agents around the time that he disappeared and died. So there you go. Also, These are the same ones that I guess supposedly have been fishing around at her place. And obviously, and then also after all this, after he died, her place got ransacked, his place, Tanya's as well. and a lot of her research that she had, because the thing was Ramona McDonald and Terry were working together, because Ramona was one of the people from, I believe, the Heroes of the Heart, I believe was the name of the organization. Tanya had a lot to do with it, where they were kind of documenting stuff. These were people who had questions in the aftermath, and a lot of them were collecting information, and I believe, I want to say, if I recall correctly, she supposedly had a copy of Terry's report at one point, but I think that ended up disappearing.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's a lot. And one of the key points in that story she tells is he made a point not to bring his service weapon when he went to go meet with them, because he clearly was concerned something could happen, which is interesting because there was never ballistics done later. So it's like, you would think, had he actually shot himself with his own weapon, why wouldn't you just, like, whether that was a legit suicide or not, whether you fucking took his own gun and shot him with it, you would just leave the gun by him, and then that way you could be like, look, the ballistics match his gun's right here. Gun wasn't found. There was never any ballistics shown later. So, it is weird. You'd think if it was his own service weapon, it'd be pretty open and shut, pretty easy. Oh, here's the gun. Oh, and then here's the ballistics matching his gun. But we never got any of that.
Was the gun found near him?
No.
What the fuck? So how did he shoot himself? And the gun, he just threw the gun? I mean,
fucking, tricep just fucking extended like a motherfucker, dude. I guess. I don't know.
Do you think this would have gone without someone trying to dive into it present day? Because I don't know, man. If something like this were to happen right now, I don't know. I think there'd be a lot more people trying to figure a lot more things out.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, you always hear these.
That it happened. Yeah. That seemed
but
like that was
stories
the
like
perfect time
this
for false flags and psyops, bro. Like the 70s, 80s.
You hear stories like this, though, that don't really get followed up. So I don't know. It's hard to say. For example, I don't know the truth of this, but I know with January 6th, it was supposedly a handful of cops commit suicide after. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how legit that is, but it's it didn't seem like too many people really dug into that. I mean, hell, once again, another thing, I have no idea if it's legit, but the frazzle drip shit, say with the supposed cops who saw, what was it, Anthony Weiner's fucking the file on there?
Yeah.
And all of them supposedly died. Yeah.
Hillary Clinton.
Is that legit? I don't know. But assuming if either of those were legit, it's no one really looked into it too much, I guess. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've scrolled on Twitter and seen someone post a screenshot of the video. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah,
no
I mean, I've seen that screenshot before too. Yeah,
yeah, it's fucked. R.I.P. Terrence Yeakey, man. That's pretty fucking cool, dude. That you decided to kind of focus on him solely, and kind of get justice for his story, in a way. I'm sure his wife really appreciates that, man.
I hope so. I mean, I feel like we've become friends throughout this, so it's been pretty surreal getting to know her and meeting her. But it's cool to see that she appreciates it. So I do what I can where I can. So yeah.
Oh man, you definitely doing a lot, I'd say. Isn't there another guy you said that didn't kill himself?
Well, there's a few in this story, but the two
really
the two big ones is that they get associated with this is Terrence Yeakey, obviously, and then Kenneth Trentadue. Which Kenneth Trentadue,
who's that guy? I mean,
Kenneth Trentadue. That was
I've never even heard of him. So
yeah. Now this was a dude who died. How do I put this? He got essentially busted for bank robbery. But then he kind of then he went through parole and all that stuff. He essentially had a parole violation. The gist of it was that you're not supposed to drink when you're on parole. And I guess he had tried to work it out with his brother, because his brother, Jesse, is a lawyer, and he got his brother to help him out with his parole officer to try to get it to beat that condition. He wanted to be able to drink and be on parole. He lost it. They were like, nope, you can't be drinking. He's like, well, I'm just not going to come to parole. So
I'm just going to get drunk anyway. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I could lie to you, but I'm going to get drunk. So I'm just not going to come to parole, and you can come get me, I guess. And then I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a while since that. Now he's coming back from the Mexican border, coming back into Cali. That's where he lived. His wife was Mexican as well, so I don't know the circumstances, but maybe visiting family, something along those lines. They had a newborn, so his wife, they had a new little kid. But essentially, he got busted at the border, for his parole violation, and he got picked up. Now, this just so happened to be happening at the same time, this, standard parole violation, the same time that there's the biggest manhunt in United States history, the search for John Doe 2, which we didn't really touch on much, but that is like a key part of this story of the Oklahoma City bombings, John Doe 2. When it came to, obviously we know after the fact, McVeigh, Timothy McVeigh, that guy blew
Timothy
up the
McVeigh.
Oklahoma City bombing. Oh, not the Oklahoma City, the Murrah building. Now this guy, God, I lost my train of thought. I'm all over the place.
I'm sorry. I think
What did I just say? I'm sorry.
You were talking about Kenneth Trentadue.
Yeah, I know, but then I jumped to John Doe 2, because that does
John Doe
tie
2,
into the
yeah,
story. Now John Doe 2,
He was out on bail.
yeah,
At
but
the same time.
at the same time
they
they're
were
looking for John Doe 2,
Yeah,
because
okay.
Obviously they caught
And this is Kenneth
Timothy
right
McVeigh.
here, right?
Yep, they caught
Definitely
Timothy McVeigh.
looks like a cholo, man. I'm
Yeah,
digging
he's
it
cool-
though.
looks
I
cool
mean,
as fuck,
he's,
yeah.
he's fucking ripped, bro. Like, probably pretty based.
But yeah,
I'm fucking digging the bandana too. That's
Yeah, it
sick.
looks cool as fuck. Now McVeigh, he was spotted the day of, before and after the bombing by well over 20 people being seen with him or in another person, John Doe 2. Now, the key thing about John Doe 2 is they searched for him for a couple months, and then all of a sudden the FBI changed their tone to, well, John Doe 2 doesn't exist. This was just like a misidentification, blah, 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 blah. And, then John Doe 2 just shuffles off, has disappeared. They find ways to somehow ignore it. Now, what happens during the court, all these people, pretty much anyone who saw McVeigh that day, saw him with another person. They never saw him alone. So they essentially ended up basically using none of these people at trial. The same people, I forget what it's called, but there was when at one point they were using these people to identify McVeigh, and then when the real trial came later, they no longer used them, didn't bring back any of those witnesses because these were the same people that also identified John Doe 2. So they used him initially just for the initial identification of McVeigh. I forget, there's some legal term for what part of the trial this was. Maybe the arraignment or some shit. I don't fucking know. I am not a lawyer. But essentially they had used him earlier and then later they didn't. So point being is it's weird. They didn't use
Maybe the
any of these witnesses
may
to fucking...
Indictment, maybe?
Yeah, they didn't use him. Maybe. I don't know. Either way,
I've been indicted
these
a few
people
times in my
didn't
past.
Perhaps. I don't fucking know. I have less... I did a lot of bad things, but I never got busted. So...
Good on you.
Yeah. I mean, I played it close to the line, but never went over it. So...
Fuck
But-
yeah, man.
Yeah. But anyways, yes. So it was at that time they were looking for John Doe 2. The government has a vested interest to not want to look at this John Doe 2. Because even just at a low level, you would just say that, like, hey, they're trying to shuffle off all the blame on Timothy McVeigh. You could give them the softball and go, they just don't want to look into John Doe 2 for whatever reason, just because they're worried this could jeopardize the, actually getting McVeigh, because now it's like
Timothy McVeigh. Okay. Dude. Fuck. That's who I was thinking of earlier.
Yeah. Yep. Timothy McVeigh. That's the guy.
Not Ted Kaczynski.
All right, but anyways, they were searching for this guy. They moved Kenneth Trentadue over to the Federal Transfer Center in Oklahoma City, and then the motherfucker died. He was basically
Oh, wow.
Epsteined in the sense that hung.
Did he shoot himself or hung?
He was hung. But now there are, I actually wrote a piece on it. Probably should have sent you the link, and that way we could scroll through, because I have pictures in there. But They when you see the body after the fact, his family ended up taking photos. It was incredibly bruised all over the place. Like there were burns. Like you can just tell just by looking at the body. Like it was fucked up. There was like blood all. Apparently, I believe it was Fred Jordan. I believe his name was the what's it called, the not the coroner but the medical examiner or whatever the hell he was. He later came into the cell after it had been cleaned up, which is weird. They immediately cleaned this thing up before anyone was able to get into there to look into it. But he I forget what it's called. There's certain stuff you can put into things to make that light up when there's blood, and apparently, like you said, it lit up like a Christmas tree in there. I mean. Thing is, dude didn't kill himself, basically. Like it looks like he clearly got hung in jail. There also were 2 inmates who claimed they heard sounds like screams and scuffles and clearly a struggle coming from his cell. And now, lo and behold, these 2 also end up killing themselves. Well, one kills himself. Nope, one of them kills himself. Quote unquote kills himself, and one of them ODs. So,
oh my god! Or someone gives him a hot shot.
Yeah, essentially. And I forget which one. If it was the hot shot, the suicide one. Man. There was actually a whole trial, or like he had a whole like fucking thing where he was like complaining to like I don't know if it was a Bureau of Prisons or about like being harassed and like being worried about his safety, and they were just basically like, "Sorry, can't help you. Sorry, can't help you," and then dead.
Dude,
so,
and most people hear that and they're just like, but like when you're learning about it and you hear that, it's just like, why, how, like, fuck, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, they tried to cremate the body too before they got the family say so. They tried twice. I forget who they went to the first time. I think they might have gone to the medical examiner. The medical examiner was like, no. He actually seemed to be good shit. He tried to go to bat for these guys for a while, Fred Jordan. And then it looked like he may have gotten threatened. If it seems like, and not to get into the weeds, but there's stuff to the story. It looks like that guy may have gotten the call, and he was like, okay, which all right. It seems like he at the very least, I think he realized, I am in danger. So that's what it seems like to me, because he really was like a hero, and all of a sudden turned on a dime, was like, oh, just kidding, let's shuffle this away. But yeah, I forgot my point. What was I going to say? Oh, no, they went to him to try to get him to cremate. He said no. I think they tried to go another route, and basically that got stopped as well. They tried to go through the family. The family told him to fuck off, basically, because they were trying to they tried to cremate the body. Like, that's like destroy evidence right off the bat.
Like I said, there's really red flags with all this shit right up front, and it seems like the family just didn't have the means to do anything about it at the time.
Well, that's actually where they fucked up, is where this story is like. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot that's interesting about the story, but what really is the lasting effect of this death? Like, this was just some dude to them who got busted on a parole violation. They probably thought that this guy was either Richard Lee Guthrie or John Doe 2. It looked like they were trying to close off, trying to, get rid of loose ends. And I don't think information travels perfectly, so I think this legit was just like a fuck up. Because, like, this guy, I don't think had anything to do with the Oklahoma City bombing. But he did match, like, the physical description of John Doe 2 that was going around, like, pretty damn well to a T. Between, like, his build, his tattoo on his arm there, a few different things. The truck he was driving at the time, a lot of it matched. But he wasn't. You very clearly wasn't. So it looks like some sort of mix-up, and they were trying to, deal with their John Doe 2 problem, probably. And they offed him. So, but anyways, what I was getting at, his brother, Jose Trentadue, I believe he was like a sports attorney or something, but like a lawyer. And, this pissed off his brother, and his brother used his abilities as a lawyer to essentially fight this to the day he dies. This dude's still fighting it. He's been fighting, essentially what he's done is he's done a lot of FOIA lawsuits where he'll like submit FOIA requests, and then when they don't, give you what you want, then, because how that works with the FOIA, you submit a FOIA, they're supposed to give you everything you need/want, or everything you want, and if they can't, for whatever reason, they give you an explanation. Now, for some reason that's not satisfied, you feel like you should still be able to get it, you can sue. And so that's what he's been doing. He's been doing suits. I mean, he's also done other stuff. He's also got, he went through the criminal. He tried going after us on the criminal side of things. On the civil side of things, he actually won on the civil side. He ended up winning $1 million from the government. And that's kind of part of what fueled him being able to continue doing this, because he just kind of put that money back in there, like, all right, I'll keep going. So he's been fighting this fight for forever. He's still dealing with, he's been in the news recently where he filed for another FOIA lawsuit while another one's still in the works. Because the biggest one, I think, he started for the surveillance tapes. He filed for them because, there were, a good, I believe, something like over 20 surveillance tapes that have been confirmed to exist that we never got. So, and then when we did get them, they would always, the few times the ones that we did get is they would be like cut like right at like 9:01 and shit like that. So, yeah, stuff really like that.
Helpful.
Yeah, like, oh, cool. I didn't see anything that fucking really mattered. So that's cool. But yeah, so they had the surveillance tapes. They were fighting for those in court. I'm trying to think there's much else to the story. Yeah, that dude got fucking offed.
Yeah, dude. R.I.P. him too. That really. But yeah, you see it happen almost in every situation like that. Someone innocent loses their life
and dragged his brother into us, and now they're still fucking paying for it now. If you really, if you're someone who digs into the parapolitics, the research, all that stuff of this, and you really get acquainted with it, you do start to really appreciate how much information we know as a result of Jesse Trentadue, or, by extension, Kenneth Trentadue, for dying. Because, all the stuff he's, been able to get out of FOIAs and, just through different means has kind of contributed to the growing body of knowledge that we have. He's gotten a lot done. So I don't know, it's interesting. That's where we found out about PatCon, was through him, because it was through stuff that came out, was PatCon.
Oh wow!
Drops.
So he's still trying to find out.
Yep. Yeah. Right now he just sued. I believe he's in the act of suing them for records on Roger Moore, which was a guy that was kind of one of McVeigh's accomplices that they ended up using as a star witness, when it looks like this guy was almost certainly in cahoots with McVeigh. There was essentially a fake robbery of his place, of all his firearms that were probably insured. I believe they actually were, and that ended up being and precious metals that he had that ended up going towards funds that were used for the Oklahoma City bombing. This guy also has a history. Roger Moore has a history of being an FBI informant, a CIA asset, working with the ATF and operates Punch Out and a bunch of other stuff. And so this dude glows like the fucking sun. So Jesse has sued for information, a lot of FOIA stuff relating to his his connections. And these are stuff that he does a good job of. He will essentially sue the government when it's I have you, I can prove it. Say with the surveillance tapes, he would have another piece of information that's this proves you have it, so I'm asking you for it. And so that's kind of the same idea with a lot of this Roger Moore stuff. A lot of it's flat out basically confirmed. He's just asking hey, we want you to formalize this and show us a piece of paper that says, yep, because we've already shown it in other spots to prove this case. So these are stuff that we know. Fucking Roger Moore was selling explosives to people and getting off the fucking and somehow not getting in trouble. But before fucking working McVeigh, he was running guns, with Iran Contra and shit like that. I think so. Yeah, it's wild. Dude glows like the sun. It's nuts.
What happened to Timothy McVeigh?
Oh, motherfucker died. Yeah, they rushed his ass through the death penalty. Probably one of the quickest ones that got through. Yeah,
who's
good.
Terry Nichols?
Terry Nichols is the only official person, per official narrative, that assisted him. Because usually how this is framed is this is a lone wolf attack, and people will still call it that because. but there will a lot of times be like the caveat of like with some help from Terry Nichols. So per the official narrative, Terry Nichols essentially helped, with, little odds and ends with the bomb, components or helping him put together. But he wasn't there the day of. He didn't really help with the execution for any of that stuff. And that's true. He was elsewhere at that time. And so it's usually, shown that it was just him. But now Terry Nichols was that guy. Now, I think you look into him and he looks kind of like, obviously I don't think his hands are completely clean, but it looks like,
right.
the more I've dug into it, the more like this guy almost seems like he may have been borderline under duress. So like it looks like he didn't really want to be a part of this, and it was kind of like, I think it's one of those things that once you enter into a conspiracy to kill a bunch of people, I think it's pretty hard to get out. And I think a lot of times with these conspiracies, you don't maybe quite know what you're getting into until you're already like, fuck, what am I into?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that's kind of the impression I get from that, because it seems like he was worried about his like family. He's still alive in like Supermax, but the problem with that though is Supermax is basically they can't get in touch with basically any journalists. I mean, in the past he was supposed to do like a 60 Minutes fucking piece that ended up getting pulled at the last moment because they wouldn't let it play. Like, I think if I recall correctly, I believe they revoked their access to him in the prison, or something along those lines. I forget, but either way, the 60 Minutes didn't happen, and there were people who were in contact with him in the past, but a lot of them they pretty much found ways to shut down each and every one of those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask,
but
real
quick, I do want to say. He said before that he knows who John Doe 2 is, but he won't say it for concern of his family's welfare. So, but sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I was gonna say I think not nice guy had asked, were they MK Ultra victims? I was gonna ask the same thing. Do you think they were like Manchurian candidates, or were they more willing to do it? Like, no, they knew what they were doing.
Well, I don't know about, if you're saying they, you mean multiple people.
I
don't know
Timothy
really
McVeigh,
if any of these people.
Timothy McVeigh. Timothy
McVeigh would be is like the guy, and if there were any ones who were MK Ultra in any way, it'd probably be him. I'm trying to think of maybe any other ones. Now there is this is a bit of a wild tangent. There's a guy named Kevin Langan. He was one of the ARA guys, which is like the Elohim City people, basically. These were people connected with McVeigh that a lot of people, myself included, think were the essentially people who helped them in the perpetration of this bombing. And it looked like Timothy McVeigh was part of this ARA group that went around and robbed banks and stuff and used it to fund their the movement. And this would make sense if another way to get the funds to do such a thing.
Yeah.
At one point he actually sent money to his sister, saying that he'd robbed a bank. So essentially, and he's telling her to swap the money, so to kind of like clean it up, I guess. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're fine, dude. I'm just fucking. What's Elohim City? What the fuck?
Elohim City is
that name is
it's a name that comes up frequently in this story. It's essentially a compound where a bunch of the characters involved in this story. I mean, the story that once you could dig deeper in the official narrative, where they're at. Like this is essentially a I guess you could say white power, patriot movement, whatever you're gonna call it. And I guess not everyone there was fully white power, but it was very much that sphere of people, and they kind of had a little compound there,
a bunch of bikers.
Those types. So it was a I forget the name of the guy. Was it Millar, or I can't remember the guy who ran it.
It was Robert G. Millar.
Yep, Robert Millar. There you go. He was the guy running the place. It was a Christian identity compound, but like I don't believe he had anyone. You had to be one of the people who believed in Christian identity, which I don't know if you know much about Christian identity. It's a weird.
Is it in Texas?
I don't think Elohim was in Texas. I think it was either in OKC or. But although Texas borders on Oklahoma, so I don't know.
It's in Oklahoma, Joey.
Okay.
yeah, that name is
yeah.
I mean, obviously biblical, but
Yeah.
it
Well,
serves its
their
purpose.
idea is Christian identity. Their whole thing is that, like, actually, I'm not even gonna try to represent to understand what Christian identity's beliefs, but I know that's where a lot of people, you get into like the race realism, but like in a Christian type way, and like I don't know, the Jews were from, you know, the serpent in the you know, in the garden and stuff like that. It gets weird. I don't know enough about it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, when you look at the Talmudic Jews and the fact that they do wear the robes of the priest of like Merodach, like the Babylonian deity, which is Marduk, obviously. It just, I don't know, there's too many that, in my opinion, they have too many names for God. It just, to me, equals out to many gods.
Real quick, to address what Not Nice Guy is saying.
I was gonna say,
I mean, I don't know of any like quote or anything offhand, but I mean, it seems pretty apparent that, like, yeah, this was born out of that, you know, that a lot of this stuff, like, that was a response to it. They felt like they were under attack from Zog, Zionist occupied government. So
yeah,
so that's, I mean, they had a point.
Now we are. I was about to say, now we are on attack.
I'm not supporting what they did, but like,
Yeah,
they were right in that there were problems. Like,
they were, man.
yeah. So
that's why, yeah, man. People are like, wow, I really agree with the Unabomber, and I agree with, like,
his books are great. I will say, I don't know
right.
if you read any of them, but
I've heard people talk about them. It's the same with David Koresh, people, and the same with fucking Randy Weaver. You know, you have a lot of people that will empathize with these people, because, I mean, you could dig into Waco, but I've kind of dug into Ruby Ridge, and I mean, that's just a fucked situation in itself. That should have never happened. You know, I mean, you could say that about all these false flags or psyops, or there's a lot of names for them. People call them a lot of things. But I'm trying to dive into damn near every one of them at a certain time.
Real quick, I do want to. We kind of went off on a tangent and didn't really address it. The MK Ultra thing. I did want to point out with McVeigh, there is seemingly, I mean, maybe smoke to there. Now, is there fire? I'm not sure. Now, one of the main theories is people think that it's a possibility that McVeigh was sheep dipped, which, for those who aren't aware of sheep dip, it's the idea of, like, say you're in the military or something, and then they go, hey, well, you want you to be in a black ops group, so what you're going to do is
Austin explained this on the last episode.
Yeah,
or he
so,
tried to explain it to my wife. I don't think she understood.
Yeah, but essentially what on the outside, they're gonna come up with some reason why you got out of the military, and you will go through all the proper channels to get out of the military or whatever, and then now you're gonna get out, but then now you're gonna be off the books in some black ops something or other. Whatever. It can be something different along those lines, but that's roughly what sheep dipped is, at least especially in the context of McVeigh. Now, McVeigh, this is the official narrative. So this isn't like bullshit right now. This dude, when he got back from the Gulf War, he tried out for Special Forces. And the official narrative is that within a couple days, he got out. I believe it was something to do with like a foot issue or something along those lines. And he failed out. Within a couple days, he was out. He failed. And then he went back to his normal unit, whatever. He was bummed. And so a lot of people try to psychoanalyze and say, like, that was like kind of a big moment for him because he defeated blah, blah. Now, here's where it gets weird. He sent in a letter to his, not his mom, but his sister. I believe it was like a couple years before the bombing too. So this was not like even like it was, recent. He said that when he went there, he got pulled aside and they said, hey, due to your testing or whatever the hell, we want you to be part of a different unit. where we're going to be doing things like drug interdiction, drug smuggling, dealing with the competition, I think is one way they put it. I forget the exact quote, but essentially shady government, stuff, black ops unit, dealing with problems, wink, wink type thing. And that's what he told his sister, is that they wanted him to be part of this unit and that he would pretend to be essentially out of the military and be with them. So, I mean, that's to me pretty wild. That usually gets breezed over a lot by people who try to take the official narrative, because that is a thing. He said that happened. So we can do with that what you will. A lot of people try to attribute him being like, I'm a crazy, into parapolitics, trying to create a name for himself out there. Which, especially, sure, maybe he's just some old veteran who's telling tall war stories and tall tales,
Yeah.
But to me, it's fucking weird. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that, and it makes me think maybe. And on top of that, when you start digging into his time when he was in the military, there's lots of weird things. For example, one thing that gets brought up a lot is his insane amount of dental visits. If you look at his military his record of his schedule or whatever where he's at and stuff during the day, it just showed he went something ridiculous, something like 30 times in a year or something to the dentist. So it's what was that about? But then I believe claimed later he didn't have any dental issues. It gets bizarre. So you're who are you visiting? Who are you seeing? When you're supposed to be fucking on shift or whatever.
Sketchy fuck.
Yeah, just weird stuff like that. Yeah, because you gotta think if he did get sheep dipped, he wouldn't get out of the military immediately. He probably got sent back to his home unit. Probably had to put him through some sort of process to get out or whatever. So yeah, I mean, he probably had some person he had to touch base with occasionally. I don't know what the process was. But yeah, weird. Well, also on top of that, Jolly West makes his appearance in the Oklahoma City bombing story because he was the motherfucker who showed up in the aftermath of the bombing to be part of I think it was a trauma, assistance or team or something. I don't know what they called it, but the whole idea was him with his psychological experience in dealing with trauma. He was going to help with these people who dealt with trauma to be able to process it. Now, anyone who knows the story of Jolly McVeigh, yeah, he does deal with trauma, but it's kind of an inverted, fucked up way of, as the opposite of that. It's kind of the idea of I know how to manipulate your trauma. There also are
turn it into a force to use. Yeah.
There is reason to believe that McVeigh did meet with Jolly West as well. In the aftermath, I believe, of the bombing, kind of the legal stuff, during that process. And now I can never remember the specifics on this one, but Wendy Painting in her series she did with God, I feel like shit. I can't remember his name, but no,
it's okay.
Whatever. She did a series. I feel bad. I can't remember his name now. Jimmy Falun Gong. I forget the name of the show, but that guy.
I wouldn't have been able to remember that name.
She did a series with him. I highly recommend people check it out. At one point, they did it. That's the only place she's announced it because she was working on a new book and she didn't drop it in her Aberration in the Heartland of the real book. But it seems to. I mean, I trust her research, so I don't know the specifics. I just can't list that off for you. But I mean, even that aside, even if you don't want to trust that, since that hasn't been put to pen to paper in a book yet, that said fucking it gives you the specifics on it. There is also, he met with, what's his name? Smith? John Smith, Dr. John Smith. I think it was John. I know it's a generic, it sounds like it'd be a made up name. Now, this dude was a pupil of Jolly West. He was one of his dudes. And this guy ended up working for the defense team, for McVeigh's defense team. So he was kind of their psychologist, on payroll or whatever. So yeah. Also Donna Langan, that guy. That's another what I was kind of getting into. He was one of the ARA guys, actually the leader of the ARA, along with another guy named Guthrie. Now Kevin Langan later becomes Donna Langan, and apparently he was doing his tranny stuff during this time.
Were they living in Elohim City?
Yes, too? Yes, yeah. I mean, in and out, yeah.
That goes into the Mormon thing, man. co-host Adrian been talking about Moroni and who that
real quick,
fallen
Donna
angel was.
Langen heard about Mormonism, or was taught up on Mormonism as a kid, as a young kid, by an FBI agent that lived next door.
Holy shit.
Which is weird. And his dad,
Yeah, these people are
Kevin
fucked
Langen's
up,
dad, was a CIA agent, and he was like one of the main dudes, like kind of, I'm not gonna say running or supporting, or had a key role in like the Phoenix stuff, the Operation Phoenix,
Okay.
like kill squad shit over in Vietnam. And Kevin Langen, with his other siblings, was living in Saigon at the time when the Buddhist fucking riots where they were like self-immolating and shit was happening. Kevin Langen literally saw the Buddhist burn himself to death. Also dealt with like a coup and shit going on there when he was like a 6-year-old. Literally the house at his
Talk
or
about
the
trauma.
yeah, like one of the main political guys there, his dad was like kind of like living in the same general area. His kids would play with the other guy's kids. And this guy, the dad, I forget his name, Langen's dad, ended up essentially arranging this guy's assassination later. And so this is assassinated the father, the guy that his kids
can't
like
make this
played
shit
with
up, dude.
regularly. Yeah, no, it's wild. It's wild when you dig
really
into this. You're like,
can't.
dude, what the fuck? And then this guy later becomes like the head of the ARA, which essentially seems like pretty much was like the outfit that carried out the Oklahoma City bombing. So, yeah, wild. But point being,
dude.
he also ends up being a troon. So it's like, what did this guy, he's, dealt with a lot of trauma as a kid, with a CIA dad. I mean, like, this dude's a Mormon with a fucking, that was taught by an FBI. Like, what is going on with this dude? I mean,
Good
sure, I
question
guess
asked,
it just
but-
happenstance. This guy enters into it. Oh, this guy was also a Secret Service informant for a while. I don't know. This dude's a wild story. But yeah, sorry. I'm just kind of
No,
rambling
dude,
about
I
Kevin
was
Langen.
just,
Like, you can go on a weird little side tangent. And you're like, dude, what the fuck?
Well, it usually, like we were saying earlier, it always leads back to these larger cults. And, dude, Austin will get into that and he'll start going, and it's hard to get him to stop. But it's always like just the stuff I would have never expected. Or obviously, once you hear about it enough, you start to see patterns and or notice patterns. And yeah, man, this a lot of these things are connected. Are they not? Like most of these, there's some part of it that leads to something else. From what I've seen, that's what it seems like. So it's pretty easy to kind of pick apart. I'm sorry, my kids are starting to yell more. I don't know why.
It's all
they're still
good.
awake. Nah, dude, it just seems like a lot of these things that happen just aren't supposed to happen. They shouldn't happen, and it's really unfortunate that, because this affects people's lives. A lot of people, from what I keep learning, dude, this shit just stretches farther and farther out. The corruption in the government and in these certain groups, these government agencies, these 3-letter agencies, it seems to go unchecked, and it seems to have been like that since it started. These agencies have never really seemed to give a fuck about us or do any sort of good. Maybe you disagree.
I agree.
Oh,
Fuck those
I figured
guys.
you would agree. Yeah, fuck the feds.
Yeah, not a
Fuck
fan.
you guys.
Yeah.
We're on gray pill. It's okay. They're not watching you, Jose.
Well, yeah. I mean, I agree. Fuck the feds. I don't know what to say. Yeah. I mean, set me down a rabbit hole. I'll go. But Yeah, no, this has been fun. We kind of jumped all over the place in the only way that you could with just jumping all over the place. But
yeah, man. No,
hey, it works.
I had fun asking you a bunch of questions because I've been wanting to get you on here. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'd like to get you in Austin and kind of have it to where we can do it. I don't know, maybe on my vacation or something. Here in the next few weeks, if you're open during the day, I'll have a lot of time during the week. I don't know, man. I'll talk to him, or I'm sure we'll talk about it again. Yeah. But no, I love everything you do, bro. Like,
appreciate it, man. Glad
you don't understand how much fucking Tower Gang gets me through my day at work. It's got me through a lot of long and hot and hard days. So
it'll do that.
No, you guys really, y'all, I don't know, man, like, y'all are in your own lane of fucking comedy, and it's like half the time y'all aren't even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, you're just talking and like shooting the shit, and it's just like comes natural. It's fucking great to, like, I don't know, especially being in the chat and shit, dude. Like, to be a part of that. I know it sounds gay, whatever.
Hey, it's a group experience.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a group experience. Definitely a circle jerk. But dude, yeah, no, I'm stoked, man. I'll be at Bohemian Grove.
Hell yeah, dude! You're gonna be there?
Yeah, bro.
Oh shit!
We'll be there.
I probably should talk to Austin, see if we can get him down. Because if we can get him down, then we could probably do like an Already Dead or something. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't make any promises. But like, yeah.
No, but
I wasn't planning on running anything on my end. I mean, I'm sure I'll end up being on a few podcasts or part of like a fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Part of a round table or something.
Yeah,
maybe I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't have any specific events. But now if we can get the whole Already Dead together, shit, we could even probably figure out something with Nephilim Death Squad. And
I think,
kind of group up there.
I think Top and Raven, or maybe Raven had said something.
Hey, nice guy. Are you coming to Bohemian Grove, or was that just a really weird, vague threat? Because he said, "I can't wait to meet you, Jules." So if he's not talking about Bohemian Grove, that's creepy. Oh hell yeah, dude! Look forward to seeing you there. Say hi. I'm not.
I
nice
can't wait
guy.
to meet you, bro.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fucking awesome.
We need to get Austin down there, and I mean, I wouldn't hold against him if he can't though. I think he's like out in Cali, right? So that'd be a bit of
he's in Cali.
It's a bit of a haul.
I'd love to get him there, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Maybe I could get him like free tickets or something. Actually, I don't want to give him free tickets if he was part of. Well, actually, he's not a confirmed part of it. I don't know. We can work that on the back end. If he does want to go, we need to talk to him on Tuesday. See if there's any way he can. See if we can figure it out, because I can maybe at least figure out drop the tickets or something. I don't know. We can figure something out. So,
we'll talk about it. Yeah, guys, I'll be at Bohemian Grove. If you are free and you haven't bought tickets yet, you should fucking buy them. I think brogrove.com.
It's Summerfield, Florida.
It's on top. Yeah, it's
October
on top.
October 25th and 26th.
25th, 26th. Yes, sir. Bunch of fucking people will be there.
Yep. Me, or like all of Tower Gang,
all
Russell,
Tower Gang will be there.
Jose, Top Lobster, Nephilim Death Squad, Paranoid American, Donuts, Jay Dyer, Leonardo Joni for like comedy. I mean, there'll be probably more people coming.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith.
Thomas the Paranoid American. Juan will be there. Donut.
Yep. Yeah, one-on-one.
Fucking awesome, dude.
Yep. So
hell yeah. So are there any plugs that you want to throw out there, bro?
I mean, just follow me on Twitter at Tower Gang Jose. If you like what I do, follow me on No Way Jose. I'm on YouTube, all the major podcatchers, Rumble as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hope to see you guys in my streams. We do every Tuesday on my No Way Jose show. It's also on Austin's YouTube channel as well. We do our Already Dead weekly live stream. So, hop on there, jump on, call in, talk to us.
I think William Ramsey's on this next week, right?
No. We have Tuesday. This coming Tuesday will be a normal, just me and Austin type thing, and then
That's
the
next
first
week,
will
maybe?
be Will Ramsey. Yep.
Yeah, I'm announcing it too early. Sorry.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, guys, y'all watch Already Dead every Tuesday. I'll be there. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out, dude. I like I said, don't really do streams on Thursday, but made an exception in Jose's case. Really want to get him on here, and I'm glad I finally did. Now, probably gonna have to get Raven on a weekday as well. Guys, if y'all don't follow me yet, you can on Instagram, graypilled_podcast, YouTube. I am on YouTube. I'm on X at graypillpod, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and BitChute, Graypill Podcasts, and I have a Patreon now. $2 tier. You can buy me some cigarettes, basically. And I'm gonna start putting content out on there very soon. Elohim Etymologies are coming back in like a week. Adrian's been real busy. He's been helping his family. His mom's been going through some stuff. So, yeah.
Tell her to figure it out because I'm lacking in episodes, all right? I'm just kidding.
Dude, I completely forgot. Dude, that's another thing, bro. When you told me that you watched my fucking show, I was like, I got like a semi. No homo, but like that really that meant a lot, man. It did.
Glad you like it. I just like some good old fashioned Anunnaki shit.
I know you do, and I have to get you back on. We have to just like dive into that for a couple hours if you're ever free. If you just want to fucking hang out and do that, man, I think
you
it'd
just
be
gotta
cool.
grab a Thursday ahead of time. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, guys. So I won't be doing any podcast tomorrow or Saturday. I will not be doing Schizo since it's my anniversary. However, Sunday I will be having Matt Rife on, not the comedian, Matthew Rife of Real Rife Technology. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure it's this Sunday. Hopefully he can still do it. And then I'm doing a cryptid watch later that night. I don't have any guests picked out yet. Maybe somebody will come on. Just shoot the shit for an hour and a half or two and watch cryptid videos and talk shit. It's fun. And I should be doing a deep dive on the Phoenix this next week. Just like some esoteric shit on the Phoenix, because I've been hearing a lot about Phoenix this week. You were like the third person I've heard today.
Operation Phoenix.
Something,
but
yeah.
I do think
Operation
there's some
Phoenix
significance to that, because then when you go to South America, it's Operation Condor. And I think there's other ones where it's like, when it's like basically the same thing. So you're like, what's going on here? I don't know. I think there's significance to sometimes.
Well, when you look into the esoteric, bro, a lot of those birds are all like the eagle in Freemasonry is representative of the Phoenix. Like with the rebirth, all the rituals of the rebirth and stuff, it all comes from the Phoenix. It's very, very weird shit, but very cool once you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, guys, y'all go to paranoidamerican.com and support Thomas. Homeboy Thomas may have some sound sciences coming this month. We can't find anyone to come on and talk about their favorite music. So, yes, JC, that $2 tier. Shout out JC, Nancy, and Scott for being members. But yeah, man. Also, oddfellowsbrand.com. Support my co-host on Schizo, Cody. You can use promo code GP for 15% off. You can go to Organite.com. That's the state of Oregon-ite. Use promo code GP for 10% off of your Organite pyramid. I have a Giza pyramid right here. It's pretty cool. If I'm ever trying to take a nap or anything, I'll like put it on my chest, or like it's kind of crazy how these things work. I don't want to get into it right now, but you can go to Organite.com and check out some more products that Isaac makes. He's been blowing up lately. I think he went on Tinfoil Hat. He's been killing it. Should have him on again soon though, guys. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out. I love y'all. Thank you for your support. Jose, thank you for coming and hanging out, man. I hope you had a good time.
Had a blast.
Hell yeah, brother. And yeah, guys, y'all stay gray-pilled. We'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.
Look, you're gonna have to move fast. Conspiracy cards from Paranoid American are here.
Conspiracy cards, flip it, what's the deal? Conspiracy cards with that paranoid seal. I can unwrap the truth in these stacks. Flip one, flip two, get a few of these packs. Flip it up, what's next? Move fake, we flex. Bigfoot in the woods, stay lying, that's facts. MK Ultra, no cap. Every yacht 51 is a trap. Roswell crash, what's that? They hide the truth, where's that? Conspiracy cards, flip it, what's the deal? Conspiracy cards with that paranoid seal. I can unwrap the truth in these stacks. Flip one, flip two, get a few of these packs.
That's right, Conspiracy Cards from Paranoid American. A set of over 200 cards featuring legendary conspiracy theorists, cult leaders, esoteric secrets, and more. For more details, visit conspiracycards.com today.
Gather round, all you mystery seekers. We're diving deep into the dark, exploring realms beyond what's known, where the secrets of the shadows leave their mark. Come take a ride on the Greygold Express, where esoteric knowledge is our guest. From conspiracies to cryptids, we unveil the veil. Mysticism and the occult, our forbidden tale. Join